back to the Great Games Podcast. We're still sticking with that title, I think. And I'm Travis, again. If you know, I don't know if you do or not. This is somebody new this time. It's crazy.
I'm Matt. How are you?
Yeah, this is Matt, also a longtime friend. My other friend, Cheese. We've been doing the podcast for a little bit. We're going to alternate. Other friends want to get on board, talk about games. Matt and I've known longer than... I've known Matt longer than Cheese.
Number one friend.
Number one friend. How long do you think? How long do you think we've known each other?
20,
air is
20 years?
I only have one shirt, by the way. It's only going to be this forever.
I would say 19, 20 years.
20 years?
It's been about that long.
Yeah, you were trying to hang out with my brother playing video games, and then you saw me playing video games when he was not available.
The El Guapo.
The El Guapo, his name in games, yeah, El Guapo. He doesn't do the Guapo, he does the Guapo. And so he maybe took pity on me and started playing games because you're older than I. You're like 2 years older? 4 years?
38.
Okay, 4 years older. Oh my god. It's terrible. I'm getting too old for this shit, unfortunately. So basically, today we wanted to do... Matt and I came up with an idea probably 10 to 15 years ago when we were working at Game Crazy.
That's about 15... No.
Oh my
that's
god.
Like 10, yeah.
2000,
10 years ago?
yeah, 2004, 2006. I don't remember if you were working there. We only worked there together for a little bit.
I just did holiday help because I was bored and you guys were all working there, so I decided to work there too.
That's right. Cheese worked there too. We all kind of worked there at one point.
That is correct.
So it was Game Crazy. It was Game Crazy was attached to a Hollywood Video, if anybody remembers, and now GameStop.
If you remember what a Hollywood Video is.
If you remember what a Hollywood Video is, all that's destroyed now. Thanks to Netflix and everything else. That's a whole other thing. But, essentially, we met there and we created this whole game idea. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it was I haven't really thought about it for a while, but then Battle Royale games started to come out. PUBG, Fortnite now and stuff like that. And our game wasn't really Battle Royale, but the idea was that would be one map. And then it would be a multiplayer game, one map. And, it was,
I don't know. It was an RPG strategy action game all mixed in one.
It was a lot of things.
So it was like a single player, but there was multiplayer aspects in it also.
Yeah.
We spent lots of nights coming up with stuff, and we even had what was our buddy's name who had the friend who was the...
Names don't matter.
Yeah, whatever. One of our buddies was supposed to be a really good artist, and he was drawing stuff for us. Then we found out later he was just tracing out of fantasy books and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, wait, that looks like
real. Yeah, it wasn't real.
I was like, wait,
you can't trust anybody.
That's an AT-AT. Why is that there? He's like, I came up with that. I was like, no.
Oh god. Yeah. AT Walker, there you go. Not at. We had this conversation. Anyway, the thing is with it was I knew that we got a little complicated with it because we wanted the best games for us, the co-op aspect of it. There are a lot of games where the co-op's very basic, like you play against the story or whatever. Most multiplayer games play against each other or whatever. There's no the co-op is rarely to the point where it's like you get that feeling of you're in it together, you got to win. You're like we fucking did it. That feeling is rare in co-op games. The excitement of it. So we wanted to make a game where I think it was called Ronin 2049 or 2249 or something like that.
2249 or 2049.
Yeah.
I don't
Whatever.
Remember the details. I may or may have not have lost all of our work.
All of our work. Yeah, I think your mom.
I think there's one page of basic stuff left somewhere.
Right. So the idea is you have these big technodrome type things. I call them the technodrome, but this big wandering vessel, hence the Ronin. So it's capable of space travel. You can go to different planets, stuff like that. But the idea is it would, once the game started, it would roll across the ground. And it'd either be stationary or it can move, stuff like that. But the idea is you and all your co-op buddies, maybe 8 players or whatever it is, 4 to 8 players. You could play it with 2 people if you really wanted to, and the rest would be AI. But the idea would be, it would be like Star Fox, because you'd have the flight aspect of it. You would start out in the middle of the technodrome, the Ronin. And you would go off, and what do you want to do to contribute?
Well, it was your main base, so basically the the main story of the whole thing was basically like Earth's resources were running low.
Oh shit!
For whatever reason,
prescient,
or we're like we've exhausted them. So basically, Earth sent off these Ronin ships throughout the galaxy to go mine and bring resources back. While also, I think we were trying to look for a new Earth or a new livable planet, that could sustain all of civilization. And then I remember just a massive ship. He called it the Technodrome. Basically,
in my head, it looked like a Technodrome. Like how big the big kind of sphere with all the technical stuff on it, not the eye or anything, but it would be like a big wandering vessel that rolled around like the Technodrome.
Yeah, and it rolled and flied, it morphed for space travel, and then it when it was on a planet,
it would roll,
or a moon, it would basically be like a giant tank thing. And then I just remember we had like crazy jobs you could do. Merchant, you could have someone be a merchant, engineer, a warrior, a scout, scientists.
The story aspect of it was, and believe me, I write stories, so I'm all about the story. But the main idea here is, regardless of it having a campaign, because it's really hard to have like Star Fox type flying around tanks, a guy getting the supplies. It's really hard to have all of these mechanics because, most of the time you're doing a flight game or you're doing a mech game or you're doing a tank game or whatever it is. But if you have all of those things together, then you're talking about like Battlefield or whatever. It's a lot easier now because now it's become more easy to much easier to make different things. Like those have been in games now, big multiplayer.
Yeah,
vehicles.
I think it's more like Battlefield and things like that. Even in Halo, I think Halo was more of our basis for like starting it, because you had Ghost that could fly, you had the tanks, you had the race, you had the Warthog and all that, all those different things. But then you could also be on foot, and I think that was a lot of that brought a lot to our attention. Like, hey, I want a crazy game where I can be on foot and fight. I want to be in a vehicle. I want to man a turret on my base.
Yes.
Space battles. We were trying to implement it all into one game.
Well, and the idea there is why we were thinking just multiplayer, because at the time we were like, well, you can't make a big story game where there's so many levels and a huge story and have like all these different gameplay systems where it's like it's a perfect mech game, it's a perfect flight game, it's a perfect first-person shooter.
I think that was the biggest thing we argued about.
At the time, it was difficult. Now it's more available because a lot of games have done that. Yeah, a lot more plausible. But the big map is what made me think of this, because we were like, okay, maybe it's just one big map. And so it's long enough so that you fly, and you can fly for a while to get to the other base.
Well, it was a world. Each world was its own map.
Or maybe it's just one. Maybe it was just like a battle royale where it's just one map to make it easier on the people making
originally it was one. We had multiple planets.
Well, again, in our pipe dream, yeah. So and the reason, so the idea there would be you start in the Ronin, the big ship, and then you're inside of it. So you start out inside. That's all you see. It's like you're running around a big ship, but you can choose. Am I going to be the guy who gets in the tank and rolls around to do that? Am I going to fly? Am I going to do, the biggest thing for me was, because my brother, when he plays multiplayer games, he doesn't like to shoot at people, really. He doesn't like everybody, he knows that people are going to be better than him and play every day. He camps, yeah. He doesn't like...
Or he writes messages on the wall on the Halo basis.
Exactly. And so somebody like him... he's not going to want to go out and be the guy in the ship and shoot people necessarily. So if I give him the ability to get in to collect resources,
or like base defender,
yeah, get in the turret, whatever it is. So you would have one person going out and collecting resources, like physically going and getting it, and there would be more aspects of that, like a collector type of game. And then you would bring those resources back to the Ronin, everybody would have that. You wouldn't get money without the resource guy. So he would get points, he would get experience, he would get whatever that is, whatever the economy is.
Scientific technology, whatever.
But without him doing the resources, we would be screwed. We wouldn't have the ability to buy the ship or to buy weapons. Because that's the other thing, is he's collecting resources so that you can upgrade during the match. You can upgrade your ships on the fly.
Yeah, well, sort of like StarCraft, where you got your little minions out bringing crystals and gases,
but real people.
But real people. It was to bring in everyone, because we have our different friends and all that. Yeah. Like he said, his brother was more of a base guarder, while me and him were more of the killers, and then we had other people like trying to monopolize power-ups or whatever it may be. Right. So when we were thinking about all the different jobs and things you could do to keep everyone, even your grandma, if you wanted, like, grandma, go get flowers or something. Whatever it is.
Well, the goal of it is also not to be too complicated. You want it to be simple. So it's like, okay, if I'm in a tank, I'm rolling out in a tank. And the only way, and that the tank system would have to be fun to the point where, like, it's a tank game. It's like World of Tanks. I'm in this tank. It feels right. But where it gets a little bit more complex is the guy bringing back the resources would allow you to upgrade whatever it is, the barrel, the tank shells. Maybe you want a mortar on it. You can,
the vehicles.
Exactly. It would be its own RPG economy with just the tanks. So it would feel like if you only wanted to be the tank guy, it would be like a really good tank game just in that aspect. And you would help your team too, because anybody you destroy, guess what? You destroy people. The guy who gets who collects goes and grabs and collects there's minerals out in the world, like you said, like StarCraft. But if you destroyed one of theirs, that would be
that would be the strategy behind it is when to know to push out, when to guard your collectors, when to that's why you'd have like scouts and then basically you bring back your engineers, you bring your engineers work on making new things for your vehicles or your planes or whatever, spaceships.
Yeah, maybe you have
armor, guns, rifles.
Whatever. Right. Maybe you have an engineer who literally sits in the base at the shop or whatever, and it's just like a game where it's just like, what do I upgrade now? It's like a time management system for that one guy.
Yeah.
So he's playing a different game than we are, but it's all benefiting the same collective.
Yes.
And even if you had 2 people or 4 people, you didn't have to do all the jobs. Maybe you got an auto engineer who's just kind of doing it. Maybe you could pop from one thing to the next.
Well, yeah, I think we discussed having an auto option, like if you just bring the right resources, the little auto optional guy, because you're not always going to get 10, 15 people to be able to play at the same time. No. So we were trying to think of things. I mean, I think we were a little ahead of our time back then. Like,
it's complicated.
Like we wanted this huge, giant world, and they're like, yeah, you can do this box.
Right. Well, now you can do Battle Royale, like the Call of Duty Battle Royale. It's a damn huge map. But what I always like is I want a 45-minute to an hour, if not longer, game experience where when you're rolling out, it's not just like the map is small, like the other base is far. So when you're rolling there in a ship or whatever it is, you can't just fly there and you're immediately there and you're shooting their base. It wouldn't be like
it's like the StarCraft.
Right. So
StarCraft maps where like you start them, you guys start right next to each other.
And it takes a while.
They were going to be literally like world huge maps.
Right.
Like each world would be a different map, and there would be different resources, different things you can get on each world.
Yeah, PvE. There'd be little.
Yeah, like this world, you may not be able to create this type of weapon because it doesn't have these resources.
Right, and you'd have to go out and find the resources. Right. So you'd have to know. Am I going out to hunt these things for these resources, or am I going to hunt down the other player's base? Because if you hunt down the other player's base, that's the best resources you can get. And you can steal their technology, maybe. Something like that. The trick would be to make it so that you actually get in fights, because you wouldn't want it to be too big.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to have incentives to engage each other.
That's why you'd have scouts, radars.
Yeah.
Upgrade your radars so you can see farther. Upgrade your scouting abilities so he can see farther.
Right.
Move faster. Things like that would allow... to someone, maybe they're not good at fighting or something and they just want to scout and find things.
Yeah, it's exactly. It should be... A game like that should be, if you suck at flying, if you suck at tanks, if you suck at being a first-person shooter guy, you should be able to win a match by strategy. Or at least
upgrading
compete.
Quickly because you had a scout who went out and found all the materials quickly, which enhanced and brought you a laser cannon for your tank instead of like a normal cannon.
Say I had a team of 8 supply guys and I was just getting resources and you have AI like ships and AI whatever. If I sit there and I upgrade my AI ships and if I upgrade my AI tanks, maybe their AI would have to be pretty decent, but just by virtue, it's like civilizations. If you're in a better technology range, you're probably going to beat a really good person in a shittier ship, So something like that. So even the collectors could do well.
But the point was is that even if someone enhanced their technology quicker, if someone's still a better pilot or something, they still have a chance, or just he's a better shooter, or whatever it may be.
That's a balance problem for sure. But it's like in Halo 1, it's like somebody with an overshield's got a good shot, but if I'm good with that pistol, I'm taking out that overshield, and it's, it doesn't matter. The one thing I wanted to talk about was the Ronin, the big ship, should be really hard to take down. That's why.
That's why you had someone at home that's like, the Ronin's just not by itself. Yeah. Like when we thought about it, there is like, say Trav's brother, he's just the base guarder. The whole time someone's bringing in resources, he's making cannons, defense fields.
And he can man those things.
Yeah, too. You can man them with your people. I don't remember. I think we were only thinking like 10-person teams back then, because I don't think it was really possible to do like bigger. And
I like smaller game types anyway. I like Battlefield, I do, but I honestly feel like I'm just a cog in a big machine and I don't affect anything. The goal of this would be, that's what I wanted to say, is if you're in the Star Fox type ship and you fly there, it should be really hard to do this, like Star Wars. But you can fly inside the Ronin. This is what we talked about. Like, if you could get in there, it would initiate some kind of Death Star killing.
Well, yeah, there was some sort of. I mean, it's really hard to do though.
Well, no, it's a size thing, because the Ronin has to be big enough to do that. I was thinking, and you would really have to cheese the thing at this point. I think at the time we were like, what if the little Star Fox ship could shrink and it could go inside, and you'd have to fly to the middle.
I thought we said there'd just be like smaller, like base killer ones that could go inside.
Right.
Like single pilot, small.
Well, that's what I mean.
Small planes, right. Like what what the military has when they're
little drones.
Yeah, those little tiny drones, but they're like one little guy can fit in it.
You could do that. I like the idea of it being really, really, really hard to get to a Ronin, to fly into the Ronin, and then when you're in it, you have to then go past all of their defenses, get to the middle, shoot the thing, and then if it blows up, you win. You don't have to fly out at that point.
Yeah.
You maybe get bonus points for that. But that would be really hard, because obviously you'd have to make the Ronin huge. It's not a Death Star.
Yeah, it's...
So, but I was thinking, you're right. If you had a little drone that you could do, maybe when you're in the Star Fox thing, it splits off and the drone goes inside, and you'd have to do it that way. Then it becomes like you're flying inside to get to the killing.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, I think we didn't go too deep into it yet, because we were still working on building the universe.
We're not too deep into any of this. I'm just saying, I like the idea of somebody doing this suicide run. It's really, really hard to do, but if you did it, it would be like you win the game. It's like a nuke in Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
So it's like impossible to get 30 kills in a row, but you could possibly do it. Anyway, That was just an idea we had too, because it was like some rogue dude who sucks at fighting could fly past everybody, fly inside, and if they weren't paying attention, get through past all their defenses. That should be really hard to do. But anyway, that's just one thing I that intrigued me, because I always wanted to do a Death Star trench run. A trench run in multiplayer would be amazing, but really hard. It's always like in games they always cheese it, where it's like, oh, you just gotta fly for 2 seconds and then hopefully, like, it's never involved.
True.
It should be really.
And there's no
hard
force.
And there's no force.
No force to help you.
What? No, I could be Obi-Wan. I could be like, I could get use the force, Matt, and I can help you.
Yeah, and then you just.
And then you'd be like, shut the fuck up!
You get shot by my heat-seeking missile, and then you're dead.
You just shut your eyes and fly right into the exhaust port. Oh dear God. So I mean, yes, and I think it was the tank. It was the Star Fox type ship. Would it be first person? Could you run around as a dude?
You could do all of it.
Define all of it. What else?
Well, you could fly. You could do first person shooter. You could do third person. You could drive a Jeep, or I think they're like hovercraft. I don't remember exactly. I do not have my notes, as they are lost.
Well, whatever. It's all from memory.
Like hovercraft, bikes, whatever. Like scouts would have little all-terrain bikes, like little like hover bikes or whatever you want to call them, dirt bikes.
Well, yeah, a scout would be
moon bikes.
A scout would be on their own. It would just be a guy.
Yeah, he could have a little bike if he wanted, or he could be like running around, little hoverboards. I don't know.
Well, so bear in mind, you start the level. And there's got to be some level of persistence, maybe. Maybe you just start and you're at scratch every single time.
Well, you have to start at scratch because it keeps you from quick games. Like
that's
super
true.
Quick games.
You
can't go zerg them. You can't zerg them real quick and they're dead.
That's true. So it would have to be like Battle Royale. It would have to be like
you sort of start off. You get you're gonna have a set amount of time, so you can set up your strategy with your friends, or set up what your plan is, and then go from there depending on what their plan is.
And the other thing was somebody can control the Ronin itself. It can move the base and then move it to a strategic point for whatever reason that would be. We toyed, I think, with the idea of also, like, if you're on foot, there's little mini objectives throughout the map that would be, like, side quests.
Yeah, it was you know, hunt the alien rhino or whatever.
Yeah, the map would be so big that you could physically go over there.
Yeah, there are little
really
there are random enemies on that planet, or random resources, or you find like a crashed shuttle and you take their technology and then you can bring it back to your base.
Well, the key part there also is that the resources, everything that you collect, if you're on that side quest and then you kill something and get whatever it was, everything you collect in that game goes to the pool of the Ronin.
Of some sort of something.
And it's well, the money, right?
Well,
the money or the metal or
money
whatever it was,
you know,
resources to build things and upgrade. But the point is the money and the problem with a lot of games is that money and resources is often like, I got $1 million in the bank and it doesn't matter. Like the money becomes useless in a lot of games.
Yeah, that's why everything was going to matter, because like if you bring it in, you use it for this technology, you can use it for this technology, right. You can use it for your planes, your tanks, your body armor, your weapons, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It may help you.
Oh, yeah.
It may not. I mean, it may only go towards one thing, but it all eventually is all usable.
Yes.
There's no waste. There's no gross amount.
Yeah. If I killed one guy and I got 500 metal or $500, whatever you want to call it, that $500 should be incredibly useful to the guy who's building things for you. Unless you want to go back and build things too, but you know, it just depends on who you get to do it. If it's on auto, you know, you have to make that economy work. But everything would have to feel like you were. That's the key here. The key here is to be inside the base, and for it to feel like you're home while you're playing this, and to feel like everybody who's playing this game is.
You have to work together.
You
have to become a community and work together. Like otherwise, you're going to lose to a well-organized team.
Right. And so
there's no like one dude who carries your whole team.
But that's the thing, though, is that even if a guy in a jet or on foot or on a tank or whatever, a mech, you know, the mech plops out. Even if that guy just says screw it to everybody else and doesn't even communicate, does nothing, goes out and kills people, he's still collecting resources for you. So even that guy who's not.
I mean, yeah, he'd still. Yeah. I mean, you still can sway a battle, but it's a lot harder if versus one guy who knows how to do everything and is a great killer, versus like a team that's all working together. Versus you, like a team of 10 rogues who all go out and do their own thing would not be able to beat a team working together.
Well, right.
You may be able to hold them off for a while, but eventually you're going to get overwhelmed because the teamwork's going to have more technology. And
well, if a guy in a mech goes there and just goes off on his own, but we don't need a guy in a mech right now. We need, you know, they're attacking our base and he's not listening, then that's
you're going to lose.
But the point I'm trying to make is that if you had some guy who's not good at communicating, he just wants to go out and kill, it wouldn't be the end of the world because it would still be beneficial.
It wouldn't ruin your game, but it, you know, I mean,
it's never good enough. It's never a good idea to do that. Let's be honest.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
It is.
And it's like chipping off resources from the other team. I always love some kind of capture the flag element. Maybe it's not just about destroying the Ronin, it's about taking something from them.
Well, that's what we had about the resources, because there's limited resources, like for certain ones, rare ones.
Right.
And that I thought is thought we discussed something about that being like the capture flag type point. Like I need this mithril mine,
right?
And there's only one on the map, and that's sort of the capture the flag.
So some people are going to make a mad dash for that.
Yeah.
And if they do,
scouts are going to try to find it.
Right. Scouts are going to try to find it. Maybe it's randomly generated where everything is. So yeah, you'd fight over the big resources, so that'd be one. But if the other team's like, oh, we're just going to go all killing, but you're like, oh, I got 2 supply guys going off to find that, then you're going to be at a huge advantage when you find it and come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's smart. I was thinking also the capture the flag element is you could have some guy, you could get a physical person to go inside the Ronin and take their stuff. Like you could get a guy to go inside of it.
I thought that's what the scouts were, if I remember correct. Were they spies slash.
Like, can you imagine?
Because didn't the scouts, they were like spies, and saboteurs at the same time,
right? Again, like, I mean, I'm not trying to be too complicated with how everything works, but yes, if you had a scout, say the scout was purely just a human guy on his bike. Say he goes to the ship. How fucking cool would it be For the thing to be in there, there's a little hatch at the bottom. You get in there, you open the hatch or blow it up or whatever it is. They don't see you for whatever reason. You get inside. Say I'm the engineer inside, and then I see your ass coming my way, and you're just like, what the fuck? I gotta, you have to defend inside your base like that. But if the guy manages to get inside, kill that guy or whatever, then he goes to the resource area. Maybe it's in a bank or something, or a little vault. I don't know, whatever it is. The guy gets inside your base, takes whatever he can, and jets out of there. And it's like a capture the flag element, but you're capturing a large amount of resources and stealing it from them.
Well, yeah, or whatever you expect to get out of that, or you get blasted by the engineer's minigun that's sitting outside.
That's right.
Whatever may happen.
Well, that's the other thing is maybe they decided to upgrade the security inside the base, so there's like laser traps or you know what I mean. It just depends on what you spend the money on.
Yeah, it was a lot. Like we had like pages and pages and pages of ideas and just different things and things you could do, because we've played with so many friends over the years in different games and shooters and stuff.
And it's never been right co-op wise.
We would always be separated because we were the two best, like for Halo we were the two best players. So we would always be separated, or we'd play 2 on 20 or whatever. Actually, well, there's only 20, so 2 on 18 or whatever, 2 on 10 or 2 on 5 or whatever it may be.
Just 18 player games, I think.
It's 20 is 5 on 4 Xboxes. Oh no, 16. I'm sorry, 16. Sorry, there's 4 not
Math.
5. My bad.
16, yeah.
So it'd be like 2 on 14.
Yeah,
and
it would be a lot.
That's what we literally would play, or we'd never get to play on the same team because everyone.
We'd have to play 2 on many. Yeah,
and we had like his brother who would sit in the base, do 360s, and shoot messages in the walls when one of us goes in.
He would sometimes grab the rocket launcher. And
he'd come after us and kill us. He'd be sitting there cloaked with a rocket launcher, a shotgun, and shoot you in the face.
Oh, yeah, and then you just hear his fucking snickering in the corner. That
from the other room.
Yeah, he'd get 1 kill per match, but that kill would be like the most infuriating kill on Earth.
Yeah, especially the old... I sort of miss the old shit-talking days where you literally were land up in the house and
yelling from across the room.
You could hear them screaming and getting pissed off and throwing controllers and stuff where you're just laughing. Or people are celebrating because they got a flag or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and then they get so pissed you could hear controllers hitting the ground.
There were a lot of broken Xbox controllers.
Xbox controllers. There's nothing sweeter than an Xbox controller broken because I stole your flag.
But but that's what brought us to it, is because we had friends at different levels.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to figure out a game where all levels could be competitive at the same time.
Well, Halo 1 did that a little bit when and we talked about it a little bit this in the first episode we did with Cheese. It was Uncle Dave. He doesn't play video games at all. He has no idea what he's doing. But he got in that Jeep and I told him, here's what you do. You drive the Jeep, you go in the base, you grab the flag, get in the Jeep, run back here. And he was able to steal their flag just by doing that. So you can have
when you snipe 7 dudes in the face and we can't respawn. Sometimes,
it's okay.
But
the point is that you could teach somebody who sucks at killing to get the Jeep, go get the flag, and just be a 100% flag getter, and that would be fun for them. So that would be
that was the point. Like people who don't want to, so people who aren't good at shooting or aren't good at flying or aren't good at driving, they still are contributing to your team.
Yes.
So if you're sitting there and your girlfriend's hanging out and she's like, "Well, I'm not really good at shooters." Okay, you want to drive this plane? Sure. Okay, or this copter. Or
you want to go collect resources?
It'd be like whatever it may be.
Minecraft
Here, you want to design the house, design the Ronin.
Resource gather.
Yeah, design the Ronin for defense. Set it up for whatever. Yeah. Whatever it may be. And we were trying to think of a game that we could make everyone on a level playing field, sort of.
Yeah. Have the architect, like the person in the base is doing nothing. They don't have to fight at all. All you're doing is taking the resources and choosing what needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and you may be able to win because your engineer at the base decided he built the super defense, and however he had it set up, layers or.
But you'd have some people that would just go. You're like, okay, I don't care about my base defense internally. I don't care about a scout getting in here. I'm gonna go full on Star Fox, amazing jets. And then you're like, all resources, and every single player, you just have 8 guys flying to their base, killing all the dudes up there, just for the point of just wrecking the Ronin, say.
Yeah, but then but if you're just doing that, your team's not collecting any resources, and they're still bringing in resources, so eventually their AA is going to murder all your planes, and you're going to be at a severe disadvantage, Because while you were just murdering the base, trying to kill it as fast as possible, trying to do a speed game, they were collecting resources, and now your planes are useless, and you're super far behind.
Well, they could have been doing AA guns or something. They could have been countering that.
Well,
they could have been countering
saying.
The jet's power with AA guns.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you may be slowly taking it down, but you're about to get smashed because you have no resources.
Yeah, they got tanks coming at you over here.
Yeah, no resources, and they just built their defenses up for anti-air, so now you're screwed.
Right. And it's like Desert Strike in StarCraft, if you ever played that. It's a tug of war. So the tug of war aspect is like, man, they got a lot of jets coming at us, and they're upgraded.
Yeah.
And we haven't done any of that. You know, StarCraft-wise, if you had like carriers, but you had no upgrades, their upgraded carriers or whatever they had to beat the shit out of you. So in this particular...
Psystorm,
right. So in that particular case, yeah, but on the flip side, if they got caught off guard with your 8 jets coming at you, you could do some severe damage. But you'd have to have at least one guy doing supply. You'd have to be maybe at an all-time
maybe they
supply
don't.
guy.
That's the thing. You could figure it out as a team.
Yeah, it'd be all
like you could have half your team attacking
2 tanks,
nonstop,
2 mechs, 2 flying guys, 1 scout, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
and then you could have however many people at the base. Maybe you only have 2 people.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that just means your technology is going to be lacking if they have 4 people defending and they have 4 people, getting resources and 2 building, or whatever what may be.
Me and you and I. Our strategy would be we're going to be amazing killers because we're really good at usually playing the game, flying, shooting, whatever. So we always go out and we're basically on defense or offense. We're usually on offense, just pushing to their base, killing them as they go. So that's probably what our plan would be mostly.
It depends. Someone may be better. Like if you're basing it off our Halo strategy or Call of Duty strategy or whatever, Trav would always be like a sniper. So either he would go in, or I'd go in, or we'd go together.
Sit up on the hill and snipe where the other guy goes in and then grabs
So I would either bring someone... So either Trav would bring someone with him in the Warthog and go in the Jeep to cover him or drive. And I would snipe from the cliff, or Trav would snipe from the cliff, and I'd go in with the other person and try to get the flag and escape. We'd have a base guarder usually who roamed around the inside. Sometimes we'd have another guy. But yeah,
But you need a heavy killer... Somebody who could thin them out as you push towards their base. But my point in bringing that up is that would be our strategy would be to push. We push and we're on offense and we're good killers, so that's what we do.
Yeah, but we didn't figure that out for a while. When we first started playing, it was all defensive, and then we would just hold people off for like 3 hours at tournaments, and they'd get all angry because they couldn't get our flag. So they got some lucky grenade that bounced off
my head,
Cheese's head, and my head, and then killed us all 3, and then they were out. But
okay, but yeah, okay. So the main point is, I haven't got to my main point. The point is, for my brother's strategy, every game he plays, he turtles up.
Yes,
he likes to turtle. Like at StarCraft, he's building cannons all over his base. He's sitting there building his army, and they can't get in because he's got so much defense. He's not going out and expanding. So if the other guy's expanding, he's probably screwed. But eventually. But if John's got 800 cannons around his base, he ain't getting in. It's not going to happen. I mean, it depends.
Well, John's a turtler, and then he waits until he has.
And he sits inside the base in Halo.
Like StarCraft, until he has carriers, and then he runs and tries to wreck everything.
So the point is, in our game, John could do that too. We could have our whole team turtle.
You could.
You could just be gathering resources right nearby and doing nothing but building internal, like AA guns outside, defense. Maybe you have drone fighters that kind of circle and whatever.
If you wanted to, you could just build up your defenses and drive your Ronin right next to their Ronin and try to burn it that way.
And you go and find them and kind of push towards them. If they're got tremendous offense, or maybe they're doing something, whatever, their method could counter that. But if you're turtling up, all you're doing is when they come at you, you have so much defense that you're taking their resources.
Well, yeah, you're taking their resources, you're attacking them, and then it also depends on the strategy, which is the strategy part of the game. If all they're building is air or carriers or whatever, and all I'm building is anti-air in my base, the anti-air is going to kill your carriers before you kill me.
Right. Right. So you would have to have so it depends on, you don't want to counter with just one thing. Say you got a mech who's half and half anti-air missiles and half ground. And he's, you could. It's like in again, we keep referencing StarCraft, like the Goliaths, for instance. You're shooting missiles in the air, and you got them down.
Got to reference great games, Halo, StarCraft, World of Warcraft, all those games that were like
that's right,
amazing. That's what makes them great.
You got to steal from the best.
That's why StarCraft's been around for
20 years.
I mean,
in this game, this would be like a third person, first person. Like, if you're a scout, you're in first person. It's a third person mech game, or in the ship, you can switch out.
Yeah, however you want to
do it. Yeah.
We were allowing it to play to all people, all styles. Sort of like Battlefield, where you're first person, or you're flying the plane or the car. But we also wanted like a third person view. Some people don't like first person. Some people like third person. So you want to whatever you wanted, whatever your style, we were trying to set something up that called all players together.
Yeah, and
whether it's flyers, flight sims, tank games, first person shooters, third person games, whatever it may be.
Whatever, right? The time management aspect, the strategy aspect of it. Maybe there's some puzzle aspect of it. Something like that. Maybe the side quests around you. Maybe on this planet there is some kind of technology that maybe that's the path of the quest, where it's like, okay, there's technology on this planet. We got to research it and find out what it is. So maybe to open up like a Zelda thing, you do little puzzles to open up the technology, and that's its own little thing.
You could do it with the security of the other Ronin or something.
Oh yeah, you could. When the scout gets in there, he's got to go through layers of security.
Yeah, go through layers of security. Like,
right.
How am I going to get by the laser system? How am I going to get by this code?
Oh yeah,
handprint, eye scanner, whatever.
And the puzzles are really hard because you purchase the puzzles, and it's like really hard to get past.
Yeah, you could have different layers, not like Silent Hill 2 Extreme Multi. Oh wait, that was 3. Silent Hill 3 Extreme, where you had to be like
those
have doctorates
so
in
hard.
Like ancient Shakespeare and mathematics and you did the one puzzle you had to know all the inner workings of all Shakespeare's plays and then figure out it was a code of a crying sad face. I don't even know how that works.
Google.
Yeah,
Google.
That was pretty much it. Yeah. Internet for the win.
So if you want to, so if you're like, I only like really puzzle games. You can be the scout. You can drive there. If you make it past their stuff, if their defense was lax, because it'd be really hard to find the one little guy, or maybe you have hunter killers who are trying to kill the scouts.
Well,
I don't know
if their technology was advanced and they had some sort of cloaking or something like that. But
cloaking.
But you can always,
there you go.
But you can always counter it with your
base defense being
base
higher.
defense. So I mean. There was a lot
and the puzzles would get considerably harder.
It was a lot of strategy to the game, and the original thought was to make a game where you can win multiple different ways, and it wouldn't, like, you could win by being strategic, you could win by being stealthy, you can win by mass attack, you could win by turtling.
So maybe, maybe the idea is not is you can either, like Civilizations. So instead of just blowing up the other team, the goal is to get enough resources to fix your Ronin to fly away. That's one way to win. Way 2 is to blow up their Ronin.
No. You have to kill.
You have to kill. You can't fly away?
No,
that's cool, though. If you just collect massive resources, that way you don't have to fight at all.
No, but you do have to fight. I mean, that's the whole thing. It gives you options to victory, but not flying away. That's retreating. There's no victory in retreat.
Okay, whatever. I still think that's a good idea. So you get enough resources, and then you fly off the planet, you win. But the point is, you can't get resources without blowing them up, typically. But
I never won by the science one.
That's what I'm saying. But the point is, I could if I turtled and then won by
pure
flying
victory.
away.
Pure victory.
Sure, you can set that. Let's just say that's a parameter you can set. All right, so you have to win by destruction. That's game types. Game types. I love the idea of. And by the way, the second you initiate the puzzle security system inside the Ronin as a scout to try to get in there to steal or blow up their core or something, whatever, they would know you're doing it unless you spent resources back at the base getting a silent security system key or whatever.
Well, it'd be all part of the puzzles in your tech level and all that.
But think about it. It would cost a lot of money to have a scout that had the ability to do a security system without alerting them.
Yeah, but you could spend all your resources on that and say they spent all their resources on detection.
Yeah.
you're screwed at that point.
Exactly. But if you're doing that, if you have a scout who's amazing at doing that, then you're neglecting the ships, you're neglecting your base defense, you're neglecting all the other things.
Exactly. Well, and the same thing is your whole base detection is all detection and nothing else.
So if they went all jets and they did no detection, that guy's getting into your base easy.
Yeah, that's the point, is there's 100 different ways you can win, 100 different strategies, whether it be full attack, attack and defense, scouting, sabotage, whatever it may be. It gives you options, which always makes it a fresh, newer game. And then with it being on different planets with different resources, like every match is a new game.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't be so much. I would love to write a campaign, where it would be like a story based around that, and then you'd play the story with all your friends. I would love to do that. Realistically, if you got like a mech and a jet and all these things, it'd be way too hard to have that crazy single player. And in a perfect world, we would do
Well, we had it originally as a single player, and then it turned into a multiplayer. And then it was a multiplayer single player, and then the game became like 18 games in one.
Well, and this, like I said, I just want to make it simple as possible. One Ronin here, one Ronin there. And then big map. And
I'm saying originally it was single player, multiplayer, single player.
You mean with the story and everything?
Yeah. We had an original story where where the Earth resources were running out, and that's why everyone had to leave.
Well, you'd have to have that backstory.
Well,
I'll write the cutscene at the beginning.
I don't know. We wrote it so
better
many
than
years
Destiny.
Ago. Basically, there was and then you figure out stuff's going on, and there were different enemies, and basically it was like changing throughout the game, which allowed it to be like the single player portion. You went to each planet. Each planet was new, different gas planet, fire, lava, ice, whatever, jungle.
Well, it would be a different terrain and feel,
and different
but it would
resources.
be randomly generated. But it would be the same size map. You'd have to do that otherwise.
Well, no, that on multiplayer was going to be changed, but on single player it would have been a set story.
Yes,
where you would have found out like what's going on, what happened to all of Earth's resources. Right. As you went to each planet, there were different creatures, different types of planets: fire, earth, water, whatever, jungle, gas, whatever it may be. Yeah. And then there's aliens and other people. Then there's Rogue Ronin. I remember that was a big thing. There were Rogue Ronin who decided that they didn't care. So they're just Ronin. And they Rogue Ronin. Well, they were
masterless samurai.
They were like not loyal to Earth anymore, Ronin.
Yeah, I remember we had the story. It was a reason why you and your family in the big ship. It's like Star Trek. You had your ship, and there was a reason why you were a masterless Ronin on your own, gathering resources. We had a reason for why they didn't. They were their own ecosystem. Well,
they were and they weren't, because you were trying to do...
Well, you're trying to do the right thing.
It was trying to do the right thing for Earth and all of your fellow people.
Fellow humans.
Humans.
Well, but here's the thing, is you got to have the setup as to why I'm fighting another Ronin, first of all.
Well, they were basically rogue. Because you have the ones that were loyal to Earth that were actually trying to remember, it's been a while. They were loyal.
Just make it up now.
You had people that were the Ronins that were loyal to Earth.
Yeah.
And then there kept going more and more Ronins out because Earth needs more resources and stuff. And then you have the ones that decided that they were basically gonna be like pirates. We don't care about Earth. Well, we're our exactly own society. Yeah.
They're pirate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pirate Ronin. It's the thing.
Like Ice Pirates?
Oh, fuck you with that movie, Ice Pirates. Oh, Jesus Christ. He made me watch Ice Pirates, and it was
a childhood great movie.
I haven't watched it in a long time, but it
hasn't gotten better. It's a good laugh, though.
That's right.
But basically, you'd fight other Ronin who have basically become only about themselves and stealing resources for themselves. And then, there were aliens, and I remember something, I think, our original story had something to do with, we found out, some aliens on the outskirts of the universe basically were secretly mining all of our or taking our resources and bringing them back to their homeworld or whatever they were doing. I don't know. We weren't good storytellers back then.
I've significantly improved. No, but okay, if we're going to spitball on the story here, I think... So I think realistically there would just be a cutscene at the beginning that would set up this whole thing, and there wouldn't be a giant story.
Well, not if we're only making a multiplayer
if it's a multiplayer
game,
kind of a
I mean, you can give a little
type experience.
A little sort of like StarCraft, like little sections of what's going on, or if you're going to be
you're
more
setting up
of
the universe, but in the game you're making your own path.
More of a PUBG,
a reason for why you're doing it,
or what a Fortnite or whatever.
PUBG doesn't have any story.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You're parachuting in, shit, go kill stuff.
Yeah.
And so you could have a thing where maybe, that's what it was. Maybe Earth has destroyed itself; it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe you're trying to go back and maybe the colonies of the Earth, all the Ronins went out to different planets, different civilizations. They landed and found different places to call home, and maybe different factions now turn on each other and they want the resources. So, like, we have a lot of resources over here on this planet. These people landed on shit planet. And then they want our resources. I mean, maybe we congregated in one place or we're defending. There's a lot of things you can do there. I don't know off the top of my head. It's hard because multiplayer it's like Blood Gulch. What are we doing in this giant gulch? It's what Red versus Blue is about. What are we doing here? Why are we fighting each other?
They have a blue base and we have a red base.
We have a red base, exactly. So we could do that, but I like the idea of fleshing out the universe just to give a reason why Ronins are fighting each other.
I mean, we would have to sit down and really figure out like what it was going to be, like if it was going to be just multiplayer, or if it was going to be like story and multiplayer. Then we'd have to. I mean, when you did a story 10 years ago, I mean, we just did stuff that we thought was going to be cool back then, and I think we created a game that was like too big for its britches.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be.
I don't even know if it's possible now to do like a giant single player story mode and a crazy multiplayer. I mean, I think it may be too big. I don't know.
It would depend.
Someone out there let me know.
Well, if you did the multiplayer like PUBG, and then I made like $1 billion, then I could be like, okay, now we're making a single player segment of this. It just depends.
Either or you could do single player first and then have a crazy story with crazy characters and build up the story, and then you can just throw the multiplayer in there.
Well, the single player, the single player / co-op or whatever it would be, you would choose, I am the engineer, and then you would be a character with a real name and a real story. Yeah, and then you'd be the engineer, and that would be your job in the game. I mean,
because before we had like I think we had characters made up and like backstories.
I don't remember that at all.
I mean, not a lot, but I mean, we had like basic characters like generals and basic
like a
people
fighter pilot. The fighter pilot guy would be like
in the main Ronin.
Yeah,
like we had like
everybody would be playing.
I think we had like 15 or 20 characters, like a couple engineers who were main characters in the story, stuff like that. And like when we were originally coming up with it, and then like you had a general and some super badass warrior like who did his own thing, but like everyone looked up to, but he was like.
It could also be a little Fire Emblem, where you're choosing kind of what character.
Yeah, I mean now, yeah.
But okay, so but the number one thing that I want to do with this is the co-op aspect, where I'm in my base. It feels like a safe place to build. Like if I'm an engineer and I'm in a Ronin, I feel like this is my base, this is my home, and you and your friends are. It's ultimate like. If it all feeds into the same spot and every upgrade I do benefits everybody, then there's no reason to go rogue. You know what I mean? There's no reason to fuck around because the ecosystem of the game would require you to, like Battlefield is like, you get kills and all the kills are going into the pool. But
even though there's different aspects of what you can do and how you can kill, there's only killing. There's nothing
nobody
else.
Really. Yeah, but most people they're like, I got 6 of my own kills. They don't really care. Like whether or not they win this battle doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's all kill count or whatever.
Right. So if you spend 45 minutes to an hour to beat a game like that, like you're invested, like to kill the other guy's thing. It's not just a 5-minute match. I'm just mindlessly killing. Like it takes some effort to beat a Ronin. You're in it for the long haul. So
yeah, I mean, you could probably do like quick games, like quick game mode, things like that would allow you to
less life.
Yeah, I mean, because that was the biggest thing with the Civilization things. Like when you play those 12-hour games. Right. I was like, I can't do 12 hours.
Well,
I don't. Yeah. I want like maybe
an
40,
hour or
like
two.
30.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 hour if it's like a back and. I mean, crap. We used to play like 5-hour Halo matches and capture the flag.
Well, it would depend because if you both captured each other's flags and it was this tug of war trying to get the flag back to try to score, that could take an hour or two. It could take a long time. But that's what I mean with the Ronin matches. if you were countering each other like that and you never got to each other's bases, it could last a long time. But again, like you said, it's better to set up a setting where if you really wanted to play a quicker game, you could.
I mean, I don't want to play a 12-hour game. Like, that's not going to happen. No one's going to want to do that.
Well, in this particular, and maybe the games would have to be a little bit longer because, like I said, you're starting from scratch. You want to feel like it's substantial. Like, if I'm building a mech, I'm building my personal mech.
Well, I mean, you could always do different modes where it takes less resources or something if you want to extend or shorten the game.
Right, exactly. But it needs to be simple. It needs to be simple.
I remember my biggest thing, though, was like, my biggest pet peeve in all games is when equipment looks the same through the whole thing.
Agreed.
Or if you add something to something, nothing changes. It drives me insane with games. Yeah. I got this new legendary sword, but it looks exactly the same as the sword I had.
They've been good about that in newer games. Newer games, the weapons change.
Weapons have always somewhat changed, but armor, we were discussing when we were setting it up, if you get a ray gun, it looks different than your machine gun. If you get, camouflage armor, it looks different than normal armor. If you get heavy armor battalion death suit, it's big, bulky, and heavy.
Right.
If you upgrade your Jeep, it looks different. That's my biggest pet peeve in most games that I see, and it drives me nuts is when I have the same outfit on, even though I have ultra platinum mithril armor, and it looks the same as my chainmail. Well, or I'm sitting there with no shirt on the whole time.
Well, then, yeah, right. And if we did that, it would have to be a multiplayer only game, I think, for the first release of it. But I mean, with that, this is the whole point we're trying to make: is that every piece of resource matters. So if you buy the Warthog, the Jeep, like extra railgun or whatever.
We'll just go with tank.
Okay. You buy the extra tank. So you buy extra wheels for the tank or an extra turret for the tank. Not only does it look different, but it's a substantial choice that you've made.
Well,
it's a big bonus to that. You've neglected something else, but it's a big deal. It would be devastating. It would be useful.
Yeah, like with the tank, like if you say you found some sort of materia that allows you to do...
Materia.
I said materia.
Yeah, get materia in there.
Material or resources. Let's go with resources. So resources that allows you to create a hover platform for your tank. Now you can go over water and whatever.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to worry about like mud or things like that. Or say you want a faster tank, so you do wheels instead of tracks. Or you want tracks,
so you secret spot way out there.
Yeah, so you want to go tracks, and it looks different. Say you want a double cannon instead of one giant cannon, or you have a laser cannon, or you have a flamethrower tank, whatever it may be, a missile tank. It all looks different. Or your armor. I want a super slow, crazy armored tank that's going to take a bajillion damage.
Right.
But it's the slowest thing ever. Like
it's going to take a while to get to wherever
it looks big, bulky, and clunky, and but it's literally a moving fortress.
Right, and the point is not to run over there real fast like deathmatch and engage the people immediately. The point is on your way there, maybe you got a side quest. Like it wouldn't be like like mid battle. You'd be like collect these things or blow up this building, or there would be things happening along the way, things to blow up that would get you resources. There would be smaller resources, but you wouldn't just be bored driving doing nothing on the way there.
Yeah, there's whatever you can do because you'd run into aliens or you'd run into monsters or
you just make a
not monsters, creatures. Yeah, my bad.
Or
maybe monsters. I don't know.
Right. Or you can just make a beeline to the Ronin and just try to take it out.
You can, but you're not going to be able to do it in the beginning because you're not going to be strong enough. Right. Even if they just let you beat on it, it's going to take a certain amount of time.
But if you got a tank that was like, okay, I poured all this resources into this giant master tank that could just take chunks out of the Ronin, like that would be devastating to that Ronin. But at the same time, they probably got some Star Fox ship that could just fucking go. And then
that or say they just have like ATVs with cannons on it,
right?
And they just take you out that way, or an EM.
Oh yeah, they just have defenses.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah, you would have to really
EMP or something.
Right. I mean, you would have to really balance the game to the point where. See, my problem is it'd have to be an hour or two long game because the upgrades would have to be substantial. It'd have to feel like an RPG. But if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to upgrade this and this, the only way to make supply stuff feel really substantial is just hard to get. So you go out there and you get it, and it has to feel like it's worth something.
Certain things, though. Not all things. It's not like basic materials.
But I mean, you can't build a whole lot with basic materials. Like, you could just go farm it real fast, but you wouldn't be able to to build substantial things with that. You'd have to kill, or you'd have to do whatever, I'm calling it a side quest, but something out there in the world that doesn't involve the other Ronin. It's just on the world itself.
Yeah, there'd be like we said, there'd be like the capture the flag or King of the Hill spots where they're rare materials that you can use to make something else, and or then you'd be fighting over that. So you'd have your fighters going over that where you get resources over here. Your other guys here, you get your spy trying to go in over here. Get your flyer trying to take out the spy that he saw run over the hill with a secret document or resources or whatever he may have.
Here's a thought.
Dance party?
Yes, dance party. And a light bulb goes off right here. Okay, so check this out. So most games, Halo, whatever it is, you got Deathmatch, you got King of the Hill, you got Capture the Flag, you got these modes, these game types. What if Ronin was, on this big map, all the game types were happening at once? So you're playing to 50 kills. So the first person to get to 50 kills, you get more resources. It's all about the resources. It has nothing to do with winning the thing other than resources. So you got a deathmatch setting here that's counting up. It's like, okay, first to 50 kills gets this particular. It's like, it would be like Destiny, like the bounties. But it would feel like
those were like the mini quests that we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. So in Destiny you already did this, but this is the point. So first to 50 kills gets the resources. So we got that resources. You don't win the game, but you get the resources.
It'd be like,
then you got King of the Hill spots all over the place. So it's like, okay, I could go get those King of the Hill spots and get points there, or I could just say, fuck it, I don't want to do that at all.
It's sort of like where like Dota and stuff, where you have the dragon in the middle of the map to kill and you get bonus resources.
Right.
Or the little mobs in the forest that when you're jungling, you're killing them and getting, gold and resources that way for. I mean, that would just be for your jungler, but it'd be for everything.
But it wouldn't be like, oh man, we got to play King of the Hill. It would be like you could, or you could only do Capture the Flag, be the scout and try to get their resources that way, or you could just play deathmatch and be like, okay, I'm getting resources by getting 50 kills before the other people do. But it would be happening simultaneously. All those things would be.
Yeah, but you have the strategy part is I may give up this rare resource.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to do something else that doesn't need that. There's always something that counters something.
Yes.
Like if they're just hogging all the resources, it's not like you instantly lose.
Well, they're playing King of the Hill, and they're getting a massive amount of resources because they're playing King of the Hill. But what they're not doing is watching for me stealing their shit or killing some other people over here. Like, they're not playing deathmatch. They're just standing on the hills.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all about there's 30,000 different ways you can win if you want. Yeah, you're not limited to kills. Or you can't take over all the resources and just basically leave them like, I can't do anything.
Right. You can get a lot of resources just by playing deathmatch, just by being good killers. But if I got half my team going doing supply runs, they're just getting those resources anyway. They're not engaging over there. So you have to decide which ways are the best ways to get resources. It has to be all balanced.
Yeah, I mean that's why I want the mechanic that. It's not just the best killer wins. It's not just the guy who control can win. It's not got the guy who gets all, monopolizes all the resources who wins just because he has so much better technology than you.
Right.
It just gives you that chance to make a certain something but there's always something to counter something.
Yeah. Well, the flip side of that is if I'm turtling and I'm not doing, I don't worry about the deathmatch aspect. I don't worry about King of the Hill. I don't worry about Capture the Flag. I'm turtling. So all I'm doing is doing like the John tactic, my brother tactic. He's just building carriers in his base. He's just getting these massive, like badass ships, badass tanks. And then eventually, when he's got enough resources, he's just going to launch a full out one-time strike against the Ronin to kill the Ronin. And that's one way to play. Whereas the other team is not doing that at all. They're just going, oh, I got all the deathmatch. I did all the King of the Hill. And by maybe they've killed us along the way. If we're turtling, maybe they couldn't kill us with deathmatch because there's nothing to kill because we're literally hiding. So in that case, they're just like, okay, they're going to just do King of the Hill and they're going to grab all the spots around the map. Maybe they're going to get that rare resource over there because they're exploring while we're turtling and just going nearby and getting resources, doing it that way. So, I mean, in that particular case, that's one viable strategy. But the other team, by the flip side of that, could be like, well, I'm sending scouts into your base. I'm just going to steal half your shit, But if you're turtling, then you've got so much base defense.
You'd have detection and
it would
just
be
so many
really
defenses.
hard. Yeah, it'd just be a stupid idea for them to try to do it. Unless you have somebody who's amazing at those puzzles, who just goes, fuck your security, I'm in the puzzles really fast. You know, if it was, say it was just hypothetically like Tetris. You got to pass really hard Tetris to get through this particular security part. Then the door opens and you can keep going. But if I've purchased like level 3 security,
more like Portal security, we got to do like Portal.
Yeah. The
puzzles.
puzzles get really goddamn hard. Right. So, and somebody who's just a master puzzle guy, maybe he's really freaking good at doing that. But not only does he have to get past the security, if I'm standing there and I'm inside the base and it's like, hey guys, come back to the base, then you get in there and you're just standing there until he gets to the door and you just blast his ass. But if the scout has a tool that lets us not know that he's coming, then that's irrelevant. You got to be paranoid. Is somebody here? Is somebody not here? I don't know. But you can feel
then they have to beat my puzzle, which is you have to beat Battletoads in one life.
Oh yeah. The Battletoads with the jumping, the ship there. Oh my god,
you're dead.
Cruel.
One life, you're dead.
Yeah. I love that aspect so much. I love all those things. I mean, and again, we're talking about making like 8 different games and even more than that in one. But it would be all multiplayer, just a multiplayer map, and that would be it.
It's sort of like Civilizations mixed with Battlefield mixed with Halo.
And we say Civilizations and StarCraft and stuff like that, and it's not a top-down view. It's all like either first person. It's all within
third person, first person,
third person, first person. Right. So if I'm in the Ronin, I'm running around like an MMO. It's my base. Like I'm a person in the MMO. I go up to a console. I'm like, okay, I'm doing engineer stuff. I need to take this resource. I need to do this. Okay, I'm getting in the ladder. I'm going up. Like you have to physically walk up to or wherever the place is to.
Yeah, it's not like StarCraft where you're like mousing over you. You're that person, or you're driving the tank, or you're in the engineer's seat. Doing whatever you need to do.
I have to run to the pilot seat to go fly this run, to move this run.
Yes.
And maybe there's a co-op aspect of it where I'm the pilot, there's a co-pilot. Maybe you're in the same room like the Millennium Falcon where somebody's a turret in there and you are communicating. It's just me and you in the Ronin going, "Oh shit, they're coming. Ah, there they are." And I'm moving the Ronin and maybe I'm activating its security system. Whatever it is. You know what I mean? There's co-op aspects for it so that I want it to feel like you and your team are in this together. And if you're internally inside the thing, or if you're out flying around, you're then communicating. Maybe you're dogfighting, and you got a buddy, and maybe you've created a 4-man squadron, and that's the bulk of your attack team. Yeah. Is you got this squadron, and then you just go out and you just get all these resources that way. While the other guys are supplies, and there's one guy flying the ship or whatever. You can do a squadron of tanks, a mech crew. It just depends on how many people you get. I would want less people to be able to play to make it more simple. Because if you got like a 15-man crew, it'd be really hard to wrangle that all together.
Oh, you could always have 5 guys doing whatever.
You can have fire teams,
your main group.
Like I said, if it's all going into the same pool of resources, then that makes it easier. Less like a Battlefield cluster. But also, I want to be able to play the game with like 2 people. I want 2 people to be able to play this giant map, the collecting and everything. I hate when they say like in Blood Gulch, like, oh, it's a 4 to 8 player map. Or an 8 to 16 player map, and if you play 4-on-4 or 2-on-2, you can't.
You have to multitask.
Yeah, and I'm like, you can play 2-on-2 in Blood Gulch Capture the Flag really easily. Like I don't like the idea that I like the big wide open spaces that you can strategize and go into, because if you know what you're doing, you're engaging with everybody all the time. That's the key, is to make it fun while making it a long-term game, making it feel like everything matters, everything has an upgrade and a like an RPG. Like the Ronin is my character. That's the role playing.
Yeah.
The Ronin is the character. Maybe to an extent the mechs and the little things that you get, but ultimately the Ronin is the key. That's going to be upgrading its thing, and once you get to the end of the match, your Ronin's going to be beefy. Yeah. It's going to look different. It's got to have new stuff on it. And no 2 games are going to be the same, because if that team decides to do an all mech warrior, team, I have to counter in different ways. So I'm playing differently. Well, unless I'm turtling.
And then there's there'd be so many variations. Like you could fight every time with tanks, but have different tanks multiple times. Like you could do electronic tanks,
fast tanks, really fast lumbering tanks. Yeah.
I mean, whatever you wanted to do, and then you could have a mixture of both, or you could have missile mechs with machine gun mechs with flame mechs with drill mechs, because you want to drill into the technodrome thing.
Drill right in the middle.
Whatever it may be.
No, it's true.
There were a lot of options and a lot of things, a lot of
customization is key here.
Yeah,
because it's a role playing game, but it's your base is what you're role playing for the most part. I
always wanted levels. Like if you did more of the engineer character, you got perks, like levels, sort of like Call of Duty. How you get more things you can use.
Well, remember we said earlier that it would be hard because if you had more perks than the other team, you'd be starting off at an advantage.
Not like a super advantage, like like little perks.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, you build 10 seconds faster, or not anything crazy. I don't know. We'd have to figure it out.
Hard.
This is the first time we've talked about this game in like 10 years.
Well,
no, longer than 10
I
years.
like the idea of long-term persistence, but like the Halo aspect, I keep going back to Halo 1, like you're in the match and the goal is to win and that's it. And it's like, I like the idea of you start out at nothing like a PUBG and then you build up your base from there. The trick is to make it seem like this epic leveling RPG within 1 or 2 hours of playing that match. That'd be really hard to do without persistent leveling along the way. I don't know.
I don't know.
You'd have to be really small.
You'd have to look at it like you get like +1 damage on mechs because you're a level 20 engineer, or you get +1.
But wouldn't that fuck the other team over if they were just a bunch of noobs?
Not if it's 1 damage or something.
I don't know. That would be tough.
Because think of like what is it?
Maybe you start out. Maybe you're Ronin.
It's not major bonus. It's not major bonuses that are gonna like totally sway a battle. It's like little things.
Okay, I've been trying to remember this. So we had this idea that the Ronin would be persistent through games. So your Ronin would constantly be building as the games went on.
That was for single player though.
It's for single player? Well, it'd have to be for single player. Okay,
but,
just taking single player out of this equation. Say for multiplayer, but the key is me, you, John, whoever. If we, it would be like a squad of dudes. Say we had a 4-man clan. We'll say it's a clan. That clan would have 1 Ronin, and the Ronin would be persistent. So then it would look different. It would be upgrading, but the upgrades couldn't be tangible to the point where it would be unfair.
Well, it's the same thing as being level classes.
Right, but the key here is like when I'm in my Ronin, this is my Ronin. So like me and you, we're together in our own Ronin. So we don't have individual ones, we have one together, like a clan type of thing.
Yeah, it'd be just like your clan. Your Ronin would be like your clan patch or whatever the heck they call symbol.
Right. Except in this case, it'd be like a giant base that you would go back to. It'd be like G.I. Joe or something.
If you want a giant platinum Ronin driving around, you can have platinum Ronin.
Right. I don't know if it would be like you get an advantage over the other team because you've been leveling up your Ronin and playing for like 300 hours. Maybe it would just be Maybe it would just have.
It'd probably just be little things like
cosmetic stuff.
Like I can add this stuff or this color or change the size
or
but the way it looks. It could be a square.
Right.
Maybe you want a Borg Ronin. It's just a giant cube Ronin. Maybe you want a Rubik's Cube Ronin. I don't know.
Maybe it's not about getting like the better gun or the +1. Maybe it's about the status of I've beaten this many people and now my Ronin looks fucking cool. So everybody knows that I've played a lot, or I've gotten a lot of wins or
perks.
Cosmetic
things.
Maybe it's just about the status of it. Like when you see another Ronin, you're like, oh shit, these guys have been through some shit, you know?
Like auras.
Oh no! Oh god, it's about that time where we just destroy everything anyway. I do it every time. Oh, I don't know everything. Who cares? Fuck it. What's with my knees? The X-Men survives.
It's Phantasy Star Online.
Phantasy Star Online. I want so badly for them to bring back Phantasy Star Online, the first one. I know PSO 2 is coming out, which I'm
12 years later.
I'm super excited about. But I want PSO 1 to be played, maybe with better graphics. That's what I want. I keep looking at the freaking... This is my worst habit, looking at the computer.
Oh. I don't know. I just wish Phantasy Star 2 came out like 10 years ago like it did in Japan, and versus like...
Oh, yeah.
Now they're going to bring it, I think it comes out...
Well, now we have wives and...
It comes out next year.
2020, beginning of 2020, I think.
So I get a game that's been out in Japan for 10 years
in
2020.
But it's never been here. I'm excited, if they have the music is key for me. I love Phantasy Star Online music. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So
my bad.
No, it's okay. So the reason why I was thinking about doing this podcast about this particular game was because, again, the Battle Royale thing kind of was going that way. And Battlefield, with all the different vehicles, kind of went that way too. So it was a mix of Battlefield mixed with PUBG, but more of an RPG with actually have building mechanics. Like you have to build your mech mid game, and again, this would all have to be simple. And key here is balance. Because if you have if you have the Star Fox jets and they're way better than anything else, that's all you're going to do.
Well, no, that's why everything has counter. Tanks have counters to certain planes. Yeah. Planes have certain counters.
StarCraft does as well.
Mechs have certain counters to something. Even soldiers have counters to everything. Right. Like everything has a counter, so nothing is just super OP where it can overwhelm a battlefield.
But also, if you spent more resources into the mechs than the other people, those mechs would be better. You know,
maybe just like when you have.
But then you could be getting the mech counter, which would be
but then you have to. Oh crap! They're building plasma cannon hover tanks.
Yeah.
I need a anti-plasma cannon hover tank.
Right.
Mech or something.
And the person who was really good at flying would still have an advantage. They would still be able to kill something that's stronger if they were better at flying and shooting and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be harder if you're using if I'm using a pistol versus an armored tank, probably not going to do a lot of damage.
Right. But you should be able to, with skill, still be able to take on something with better technology. It's just harder, a lot harder.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point. Yeah, but I mean,
Civilizations,
there's always,
you should have better strategies.
It'd basically be like Halo reference. Halo reference again. Yeah. It'd be like fighting a dude with a shield.
Overshield. Yeah. I already made that.
You said that earlier.
That's exactly what
That's literally like what it is. It's just it may be a little harder. It may take more skill, but it's plausible.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, so would it have microtransactions? The dreaded microtransactions? What about if it was just cosmetic? Because this is where PUBG gets into it. This is how they make all their money.
I guess.
This is how we get single
as long as it's cosmetic and has no bearing on giving you an advantage in play.
Okay. Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
That would be all right. You could do cosmetic microtransactions. Nothing crazy like $50 for a red armor or something.
The best looking cosmetic stuff and status would have to be through actually winning, not buying.
Yes, I would think that, or even if you play for a certain amount of time, you can acquire the same things that you can buy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, because you can't have games where I buy this gun and it's 10 times better than you. Can't have an advantage in play. Right. Everyone has to be on a level playing field. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you're in a shiny gold costume with a top hat or not.
Right.
But everyone has to be on. There's no, I'm going to buy this gun and it's better, or whatever it may be.
Okay.
Costume makes me smaller and my hitbox is smaller. Something like that.
Odd job. Your odd job.
Nothing gives you an advantage if you did do microtransactions. It would have to be cosmetic only, and I think you'd still have to be able to somehow acquire those through either long amounts of play or wins or somehow.
Yeah. No, it would be for, like I said, through status. You'd have to be playing it for a long time, but also winning and also
basically if you
certain things out of it.
Basically, if you want to pay money, you just acquire things faster. Like armors, colors, skins, whatever.
Yeah, but the best stuff I'd still say you'd have to earn.
Yeah, basically...
You can't buy the Darth Vader, like the Borg cube.
No.
Well, I mean, maybe...
It would have to be... It'd be like old WoW, where you have like Merciless Gladiator, and you could only have that stuff if you were a Merciless Gladiator.
Okay. I'm not familiar. I mean, I played WoW back in the day. Does that mean you earned it?
Yes. You are the top of the... You're the top of the top.
Okay. Top of the top. I like that.
So, you mean the best players would encourage people to become better, so give you something to aim at.
Right.
That guy, it's like, well, I'll go to WoW again. It's like, oh my God, that guy's shoulders are awesome. Where do I get those? Oh, you can only get that by being a Merciless Gladiator or being able to, that's the highest raid last boss armor. I want that. I need to get better to get that.
Right. And I also like the idea of a leaderboard where it's not just me individually as the player, it's the Ronin I'm attached to that's up there, and then you got the people who are in that Ronin.
You'd have to do both, like individual players and Ronins or clans or whatever it may be.
What if fuck individuality in this case? We're going full communism. We're going full board cube in this case.
You couldn't do it though. You would because you would have to reward the people that join random games. You'd have to have a leaderboard for the guy who wants to play solo.
You mean who is attached to one Ronin?
Yes. So if I want a quick game, I'm joining a quick game because no one on my clan.
What if that was a separate leaderboard, like a lone wolf, a Ronin? What if it was a lone wolf leaderboard and then an actual clan leader? I mean,
you could do that.
Do both.
Or like a smaller group leaderboard. You could have a solo player. What's wins, kills.
Individual
harvesting, whatever. You could have a leaderboard for everything, like number 1 harvester, number 1 engineer, number 1 killer, number 1
I don't like it.
Spy.
I don't like it when things get too complicated.
I mean, it's probably too much, but I mean,
I think if you had an individual and then you had a Ronin squad, a Ronin clan leaderboard.
But how do you base it? How do you make one person better than another person when this person, all his strategy is winning by turtling, and the other ones is all winning by
attacking? It could just be about wins. I mean, if it's the team one, it's just how well you do as a team in winning. It'd just be about winning.
Just do win-loss ratio. That's it.
You could simplify it. It's just about who's got the wins. Maybe it's about how much collectively everybody's got resource-wise, or how many kills, or...
Then you might as well split it up into individual jobs. I'm the number 1 in resources. I'm the number 1 kills. I'm the number 1 base defender. I'm the number 1 spy.
Might be a good idea to do that. It might be a good idea. The point is, I just want one leaderboard where it's your individual Ronin and all the people within that, because I want it to all be community based.
Well, that would all have to be all clan ranked. Yeah. That'd have to be all Ronin or clan ranked.
I guess you could do under the individual.
Ronin ranked.
Right. Under the individual one, then you could say, okay, I'm the best. I'm number 40 in the world at supplies. So I'm the supply guy.
If you're gonna have a game that's so diverse and allows you to do so many things to win or help your team, there would have to be some sort of ranking for each class or each number 1 in resources, number 1 in killed, number 1 in base defense, number 1 in resources stole.
Well, it would have to activate. It would have to activate when, because like I said, you start in the middle of the Ronin, and then from there on you could do whatever you want. It's not like I've chosen the engineer class. It's just I'm walking up to the pilot seat. And I'm driving, and that's
no. But
the second that activates, then it's
but like you'd have to break it in, like number 1 mech kills, number 1 tank kills, number 1 kills, like
jet pilot,
random
kills,
guy or whatever, maybe
Star Fox kills,
most resources gained, most resources stolen. You'd have to break it up in the category. I don't know how. I'd have to think longer than we're going to be on.
No, it's just the second you get in a mech, everything you do is now counted as
a mech kill. Yeah.
So that's easy enough. I mean, it just
you just have to break it up, and I'm the number 1 mech guy. I'm the number 1 resource guy. I'm the number 1 kill guy.
Right.
Like you could do overall kills, mech kills, tank kills,
and it's you running back, or either returning to the base or dying.
Foot soldier kills.
Yeah, and now you're back at the Ronin. Now I can do whatever I want. But I mean, most people are going to want to probably specialize. You know what I mean? If you're going to go mech, you probably want to really go mech and then upgrade your mech. Because if you abandon your mech halfway through, you're like, oh, fuck, I need a ship. You're going to half-ass the ship. It's not going to be highly upgraded.
Well, you'd be able to take someone else's ship.
So you're saying it wouldn't be like, I bought my mech. It would just be, there's a mech there, then you could
take. Yeah, your buddy made a mech. Say he's like, screw it, take my mech, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take this plane and go try to, screw up their resources.
Oh, shit, they're coming, I got to get this jet, I'm out of here. And then you're like, okay, I'm spawning in, I'm going to go grab the mech and go.
You're creating...
The engineers are creating stuff for your team.
You're creating your engineer is. Yeah. You are. Like, everyone's creating stuff for the team.
Well, you can pop in and be an engineer. Like, you could run and be the engineer, go, okay, I want to create that. Or you could just relay that to the engineer and say, I need this. Create this for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there'd be job titles or, like, classes. But
well, just be
everyone is everything, but depending on, like...
if you're in the engineer area, then you're the engineer guy.
Or if you do want to do, like, engineer, number 1 engineer. So you're the number 1 base defense kill leader builder guy.
Yes.
And then you could be like the number 1 resource spy. You could be the number 1, I'm just a foot soldier killer.
That's how much stolen?
Yeah,
as a scout, how much have I stolen from the team?
I mean, you'd have to put a lot more time and thought into it.
It'd be all balanced.
A podcast.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of thought. We're spitballing here. This is the point. I just want to know what would be my ideal game. And my ideal game would be this big co-op RPG type thing where I really feel like it's collective. It's not hypothetically, if we say The Witcher 4 was coming out and it was co-op. You're gonna be Geralt, and you're gonna be Geralt, and you're doing your individual Geralts. We're together.
I want to be Steve.
You're Steve. Steve of Riveria.
Yes.
Riveria. Yeah.
Riveria.
Revolta. or something. So fucking cut this out. Jesus Christ. So cut it. Fucking get it out of here. The fuck was my point? The point is, if you're in Witcher 4 and you're Geralt, we're both individual Geralts, but the RPG aspect of it is I'm getting stronger and you're getting stronger, but the only thing we're doing together is winning the story.
No, you're your own individual character.
Yeah. No. I mean, but that's my point. In any co-op game you play, it's always like, I'm my character, you're your character, I'm jumping into your game, I'm helping you win, but the only objective is win the story. And then you're getting yourself individually. So I don't have any connection to you getting your sword or you getting your magic. True. Whereas there's no co-op experience where the whole is, where everything goes back to the if you get a sword, everybody gets the sword in this particular case. So Ronin would be, the sword would be like, I got a mech gun on the particular gun that everybody can use.
You would build, everything goes towards the greater good or the community or whatever, however you want to say.
So it's an RPG, but it's an RPG that the Ronin is the role playing character. Because I want everybody to go. It's like everybody having their own individual.
He's
Geralt.
the main character, if you want to do.
Right, he is Geralt.
The spaceship is the main character.
Yes.
You're Mega Man. You're Link. You're
and everybody is trying to make Geralt a bigger badass. I got the shoes. I went and got that thing, and I bought I got the shoes for it. And everybody kind of contributes.
It would be like building your own castle. Like if you're doing like a fantasy game. Like you're building your clan's castle or hut or
and the individuality of I'm buying stuff for myself, or I'm buying. I don't necessarily want my character to level up and upgrade. I want the Ronin to upgrade. So me as a person, I'm running around, and then I get in the mech. The mech is part of the Ronin. That's what's getting upgraded, not me personally.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I know originally we were talking about like everything would like mold to it, like when it moved,
right?
Like or whatever. Like you could either walk.
The ships would shoot out of the side of the Ronin. That's the fucking
badass
part.
Or it would like
just right
the
out
mechs would like just like merge into the side and can become a cannon and a mech. So you could remember like you could. You could have a mech, and if the mech's not being used, you basically like station it on the Ronin,
or you could sell it and it would go back into the,
or you just leave it there for your buddy.
I don't know. Like I said, everything that I want to do is about simplicity. It's about balance, and it's about the ease of use. If my brother goes into the thing and then he's got like this overly complicated mech building thing, or building all these parts and it's super complicated, like it should be as easy as I'm buying the arm, the better legs. They look different. This is what these legs do. So it's like you're assembling your mech, but it's not crazy difficult.
It'd be like old Mech Warriors where you're literally at a screen and you're like, I want a flamethrower arm and a machine gun arm. Yeah, front mission
is the shit.
That's what I meant. Front mission. It'd literally be that. I want a jetpack, or I want tracks, or I want speed legs, or
just a really fast, light anti-air mech or something.
Or I just want a giant sledgehammer thing that beats on things, whatever it may be.
Or you're half supply person, half anti-air guy. Say there's a huge amount of ships, and the goal is to I got like supply perks, like I get supplies quicker, but then I'm also shooting things out of the air and then getting their supplies.
You have two a harvest arm and an anti-air
harvester. That's what it is. Yeah. I want my brother, honestly, to just circle around the goddamn thing and just collect things in his harvester. And I want him to upgrade the harvester to be faster. And so it's like this little meta individual game that he's playing. He's playing his own little resource game that is contributing to the whole. So he feels like he's doing it for the whole, but at the same time, he's a little bit disconnected from me flying. He's not playing that game. I'm playing the flying game.
John was more of a builder.
Yeah, he's more of a builder.
Not a resource gatherer.
Yeah, he could sit... Well, I mean, if it meant he'd have to get the resources to build. I mean, John could also be the guy sitting inside the base where somebody else gets the resources and he's just choosing what to build strategically.
John likes to lead.
Yeah. But he could do that from the Ronin. You could be the leader who he's moving the Ronin.
He wants to send us to die while he sits on his golden throne and tells us what to do.
Well, and I'm cool with that. Somebody could sit... They used to have in Battlefield, they used to have a commander who would basically give orders and he'd have his own powers. So in this particular case, you would be able to drive the Ronin around if you wanted to, call out commands. Maybe he would also set waypoints. Maybe he's got a broad view of the map that we don't have.
Well, it'd be like a guild leader, like leading a raid.
Right.
Just, like in WoW.
Right.
Like you got to do this, you got to do this, and then when this happens, you got to do this, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, maybe I'm in the ship and I have my little mini radar. So if I'm in like a little Star Fox thing, like I have what's in front of me, but I don't have, and I have a good view because I can see everything. But maybe my brother in the Ronin, he's got a full view of the map and he can see where everything's going on. So he's got a full view, but the only way you can do that is if you physically stand.
Well, he'd have to be at like the radar center in the room or something, or the security. I don't even know what room to call it, like a security room or a.
Well, just say it all happens in the in the cockpit. Say it all happens in the cockpit. He can fly. He can see the radar. He's not doing anything. All he's doing is being a leader, and he can do that. But you'd have to have a guy sacrificing his ability to go out and do things.
Well, he'd be driving the Ronin.
Time. Yeah, and he would be having the radar thing going like, okay, they're going. I can see 2 jets going that way. Maybe he's got this satellite view of everything.
Well, that's what you would upgrade to. That'd be your detection.
Right. Maybe you have to upgrade the radar, but that would be considerably expensive. So you'd sacrifice the ability to kill things, but you would be gaining a view of everything. So some people would like that, and some people wouldn't. You would have to. I mean, put it out in early access, see how it balances out. Man, that'd be so good. But again, you'd have to have flawless controls on mechs, on little hover bikes, on. You'd have to have it feel like Star Fox. You know how hard that is to do like 8 individual perfect control games. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. It's easier nowadays because a lot of games do that. Like like Grand Theft Auto,
Far Cry. Far Cry, you're driving and you're flying.
Driving, you're flying. Yeah,
you're flying a jet and then you're flying like a dust cropter.
Yeah, and Grand Theft Auto doesn't always have the best controls. But you'd have less vehicles and less stuff. So it would be less now. So you used to think that was a pipe dream where it's like, oh, we got mechs and we got to build the mech and then it's got the mech controls and that's different. But when I think about Grand Theft Auto, like 5, and how complicated that game is with so many vehicles and everything, it's not beyond the realm of possibility to just have a multiplayer map when you do this.
Yeah. It used to be hard. I mean, shit, I still can't get a game that freaking has every armor look different and a weapon look different. I'll go back to this all day. It's my biggest pet peeve in all games.
Well, Final Fantasy is like halfway because it's really good about giving you badass swords
the same
and shields,
outfit and stuff.
But the same outfit the whole time. I get why they do that. I get because they want the iconic look of Cloud or
Well, and I think it's a lot for cutscenes and stuff too. But there are some.
But there are a lot of games that
was it White Knight Chronicles?
Better games than that.
Like no, but I'm saying like White Knight Chronicles was a awesome
upgrading type
game setup where you could run around with your homies, kill monsters, right. And every weapon and every little cutscene, your weapon and armor and everything look different.
Yeah, because they rendered it in engine.
Yeah, but
Witcher 3 does that amazingly.
Yeah, Witcher 3 is amazing. I love Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem doesn't. I mean, it does it like weapons and stuff look different, and armor looks different when you change classes.
Yeah.
But you still look the same. But I still wish. It's
better
than nothing because as you switch jobs, you look different, which is cool. But
by the way, Fire Emblem is part Final Fantasy Tactics, part Ogre Battle, and I was thinking, bring back Ogre Battle. Why am I talking here?
Ogre Battle 64.
Ogre Battle. Okay, Final Fantasy Tactics. Let's get a Final Fantasy Tactics 2. Let's get a Ogre Battle. Oh my god, or at least do a remastering of Ogre Battle 64 or the PlayStation or
Ogre Battle 64 is one of my favorite types.
So good. You can still get it on the Wii U for $10.
I have 2 copies of it
for
my 64.
Yeah, I know. Or we could play.
And I have the Ogre Battle for PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah. There's Tactics Ogre, which is more like Final Fantasy Tactics, and then there's Ogre Battle, which is,
I do love Fire Emblem right now, though.
Fire Emblem's really good.
There's a little too much in the support conversations, but that's
you don't have to do those.
I know, but like I want to engage with all my students, so
I guess you do. Try to yeah.
But that's for another time.
Yeah, that's a whole nother game. I'm playing a lot of Fire Emblem right now. It's a whole other thing. But anyway, if anybody listens to this, if anybody cares, I would like to hear about what kind of your favorite game would be. Your biggest pipe dream game. I'm all about the co-op, and I just don't feel like co-op it's getting more and more out there. Like I'm looking forward to Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I think it's called. Looking forward to that. The
new Call of Duty looks sick.
I haven't even seen any.
The new Modern Warfare?
I haven't seen much of it.
It looks sick.
Does it?
I watched.
What's new about it?
It's supposed to be more
More strategic
versus crackhead 8-year-old running around
like
murdering people with a shotgun from across the screen.
Yeah, I hate that too.
Shotguns do not kill things from 3 miles away. I'm just saying.
Well, okay, so that's true. Well, with I bring up Ghost Recon because that's a really good co-op experience, but it's all through the story. Again, it's all co-op through story. I want co-op where it's a community. It feels like we're all in it together. I want that moment where everybody's protecting me while I make my last minute bombing run to go inside the Ronin, and they're like keeping him at bay, keeping him distracted, and I go in there and I'm making the shot. I'm like, I'm almost in there, guys, and I blow it up, and we win right at the last second, and everybody's like, fuck yeah! You know, that doesn't happen in games that much anymore.
It's been my pipe dream for a long time. Games where you like build a base with your friends, set up all the defenses. You know, you all work together to bring wood or concrete, whatever it was.
You've been talking about a zombie game.
For years, I've been talking about the zombie game where you literally build your fortress, or not fortress, your survival city, or even your town, whatever. You build all the defenses with your friends. You're fighting off other players. You're fighting off zombies. Yeah. You're being attacked by other people while fighting off zombies and other people. But it's a
turtle. It's the trick here is what Nazi zombies and the zombie type games in Call of Duty never grabbed me, no pun intended, because it's just like there's no way to really turtle in those games, and maybe that's the point.
It wasn't even a turtle. It's just you're building a giant base to survive with your friends.
But you want to try to feel safe in this little environment that you're making better. That's the whole point. I don't want to feel like 3 seconds from now all my stuff was in vain because they just found some underground. You know, like it's impossible to really shell up in there with your buddies. Like State of Decay 2, I think made way there, but I don't think it's quite the same.
No,
like that's kind of getting there. But what you're talking about is you got your big fortress and you're leveling it up. I mean, you want it to be challenging where things are coming at you, but again, it's a matter of an hour or two long multiplayer game. Maybe it's the whole campaign where you got this location.
Like a constant building survival game.
Yeah, but it feels substantial. It feels like your house is the RPG is your house, and you're building that. Yeah, and it takes a long time.
You have
it's not just
constant 24-hour world where if you're on, you're adding to your base. Yeah. If we're both on, we're both working together. Or if someone else your friends is on, or your guild or clan or whatever,
and you have to go out and do things.
Your survival buddies, and they're off. One guy's chopping wood. One guy's finding metal. One guy's making bullets.
I gotta get
one
food.
Guy's
I gotta get food.
One guy's cultivating a farm while building defenses to fight off the zombies and other people. So I got Billy Bob over here and his clan trying to steal my food or my cow or whatever it may be. Right. And then you
can play it without clans if you really want to. Just play against the game.
You can play against the game or whatever AI. But I wanted me and my friends building a civilization, a little fortress to fight off you and your friends and the AI at the same time while stealing your stuff and finding stuff and building your base up and making it crazy. And then if you're not there, you could set up AI people to defend your base while you guys aren't there. Right. So if Clan B wants to attack Clan A, you have to beat all my defenses.
Yeah, maybe it makes it harder for them to do it when you're not there or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you set up traps, you set up defenses, and then your guys would run around as little AI people while you're not online to defend your base.
Right, and the trick here is making it so. See, this is what a lot of RPGs, most RPGs, a lot of the great ones, Suikoden, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, Suikoden 1. Not Shenmue.
Yeah,
but a lot of the Assassin's Creed games, Fire Emblem now, like when you have a central base that you kind of go out and do missions and you come back to your central base, you're constantly upgrading it. Those tend to be some of the best games out there. And what you're saying is you're not moving from level to level to level. You have one base in the zombie apocalypse.
It's a giant open world.
And all your goal is to survive. But guess what? You have to go out and you have to make your defenses stronger, and you have to maybe get allies. You have to get food because your food's going to run out. It all goes back to building up the same base. And
It's sort of the same thing, but different. This was more of like a multiplayer versus AI type game, like Call of Duty has the zombie thing.
Right.
But like zombie, you can set up defenses, but they go away.
Yeah,
like,
I want you
to build a civilization to survive while fighting off people.
Long
term. Basically, they destroy your base. Like if Clan A destroys Clan B's base, or you say you just get overwhelmed by the zombies or the mutants or whatever may be out there, you have to rebuild all those structures later. Right. Your base isn't completely wiped out.
And learn what happened.
Yeah, and then you come out like, okay, I'm gonna place bear traps here, or I'm gonna do a fake wall. I'm gonna do a fake wall, so when that wall shatters, it goes into like a oil fire pit, or whatever it may be. Or I need more spike traps, or I need to build my base on top of a mountain, or on the side of a mountain, or maybe up in the trees like Robin Hood.
So you're choosing where to build it.
Wherever you want to build your civilization. You can build it out in the field if you want.
So it starts out like as a log cabin and kind of builds from there like a base. You can build
it starts off as like tents. I got a little tent city. Okay, we cut down some trees. We built a cabin. We built a wall. We built a stone wall. Right. We found a rock quarry. We built a stone wall.
Right, and while you're gone, if it's persistent like that, maybe you get a big bonus for like if you're gone for 12 hours, maybe you get a really big bonus if you haven't been fucked up. Like if
you get points and you get rankings and special items and stuff if your base survives a raid or a apocalyptic monsters, vampires, zombies, whatever.
Let's just say it's zombies. Because we want a zombie.
Like if a zombie horde attacks your base and you survive, you get bonus materials. Oh, they had a bunch of guns on them, or they had backpacks full of water, or
Well, the trick here would be to be able to see how they got through your stuff, and then when you look at it, you go, okay, I got a plan for that next time. Like the strategy aspect of it is key, because it's not just like, oh, I just built 15 traps here. Like resources, you don't have enough resources to do everything.
Well, it might work the first time, but if you only have those defenses and then they say a scout for Clan C said, oh, dude, I watched this, because it's all real time. Unless you're not there, then your little AI guys fight. Right. And they go, okay, their right side is super heavily guarded, but if I come in from the top of the hill to the left, they didn't really guard that. Or, they only have arrows because they don't have ammo. Or they only have this, or their walls are really thin, so I can make a battering ram out of a log or a broken car and run it down the hill through the gate or something. Yeah.
And whatever. And you saw him do that, and you're like, man, what can I build to better strengthen that for next time, so it doesn't feel like a total loss.
It'd be like like the old Call of Duty kill cam. You saw how you died.
You saw how
you would literally be able to see that, review it, and check. Okay, my wall's really weak over here, or they used, they climbed up ladders, or they rolled boulders into my fences, which allowed the zombies to come in, and then they came in and killed all the zombies, and then killed all of us and took our stuff.
And whatever. And the trick here is, I think the important thing is to bank things, to have like an area where it's untouchable from people.
Well, it'd be like something.
You'd have a bank where if you ended the game for the night, it's like, okay, all the stuff that I want to keep for next time, I've got it in this vault.
Your master chest.
Whatever the hell it is. It's impenetrable, or nobody can screw that stuff. So you're not starting from scratch. All the stuff that you've gathered, you can leave into that.
No, you would have to rebuild your defenses.
You'd have to rebuild it, but my point is you would have your stuff that you've kind of stuck away in the vault.
They would take like portions of your like you would have a master chest or whatever, security vault, whatever you want to call it. Right. And they would get portions of your whatever you had. So if you have 5,000 ammo in there, they would be able to get, we get 500 ammo for completing the raid.
Take like
we get 3 rifles.
Okay.
They gain portions of what you have.
So you could
they get 10% of your loot or whatever. But they don't actually take your loot. Like to a point.
Oh, they don't take all of it.
No, like if I have a rifle with a scope and it's locked away and I wasn't there to defend, they don't get my 50 cal with my scope. Okay. They would get stuff from it, but I wouldn't lose that. Anything that was in the master vault or whatever you want to call it,
no, I get it.
they would get a portion of it. So I got 500 rounds of ammo. I got a cow. I got,
But if you didn't put it in the vault, if you didn't put it in the vault, you'd lose it all.
Yes. Right. They could take it. That would be the point, is they would destroy your base. They would take your barbed wire. They would take your wood, whatever they could carry, and then you'd come back to a screwed up base and be like, crap.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't be able to be attacked for so long, so you and your guild could rebuild.
That's a good idea. But you could also go out. You could also go out and do missions. It wouldn't just be like.
Well, you'd be doing missions to go get stuff to rebuild, and then you would have basic supplies to begin with, and then you would build up until you had like a full on like crazy attack on Titan Town, trying to keep everyone out. We got giant walls and all sorts of stuff, and that would be like the number one clan. But then you could have multiple clans join forces to fight you when you get that big or something.
Yeah, I think the important thing here that I think the two of us kind of agree on what kind of game we want. We want a big co-op, persistent, like you and I feel like our fortress is our fortress, and when we protect it, when we build it up, it's all for the sake of the communal aspect of this is our shit. And we did this.
Yeah, it's sort of like in Minecraft where you build build whatever you want in Minecraft. I built this. This is mine. I want to protect it.
Right. Yeah. But in Minecraft, it's just like you just kind of do it for the fun of it.
Yeah, I want to do it with my buddies. But
this would have a goal.
Yeah, I would want my friends and people that I play games with who in my community help build to make the ultimate fortress to dominate.
The goal is just to survive, and the bigger that your fortress gets, the more. I mean, the status is like, look what I have. I didn't get fucked up.
Yeah. Or eventually, you're going to go against top guilds who have like, I have an engineer who found a factory and was able to create like, old cannons or something, whatever it may be. Right. So you're shooting zombies with cannons, or you got like, or the Road War, you got a big old gas tanker and you created flamethrowers, or whatever it is to keep them off you. But if you flamethrow the zombies too much and you got a wood fence, guess what happens to the wood fence? I'm just saying,
they burn your shit down.
I mean, I
think the other aspect is the strategy. You don't want it to be just mindless, because a lot of games don't consider any level of strategy in any of the stuff. It's just like, gather your stuff, level up your character, shoot the zombies, you win. There's no strategy to it. It's just like, okay, get the stuff and go.
Yeah, plus it stops, you'd still have conflicts outside your base and things like that. It also stops campers, though, too, because I know what was not World War Z, DayZ. You literally, I would be running across and get shot from a guy who was just sitting in a bush for like an hour, just waiting for me to get into like range. Then he'd come up and take all my stuff.
Yep. I like where things are going. I like that the games we were dreaming about 10, 15 years ago are coming true in portions. There's a lot of co-op out there, small percentages. If we had the money, if we had the coding know-how, if we, God forbid, I write screenplays and I write movies. And if I ever sell one and I ever make a lot of money and I keep going, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to try to make this game, this dream, a reality. And I want to write the story for it, and it's going to be way better because I actually know how storytelling works. Storytelling in gaming is pretty pathetic.
It's
like,
gotten
on an aggregate, it's real bad.
Sometimes it's really. God of War was amazing.
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest, God of War, like there are games. Last of Us
had a great story.
Yeah.
I feel like story's sort of gone second.
Oh yeah, so it's always been second. I mean, video games have been getting better in that department for sure.
Sometimes they're really good, and other times it's god awful.
99% of the time, I would say, and that maybe
not 99,
maybe 90% of the time.
It's most of it's hot garbage.
It's just he's just an excuse to do whatever the fuck it is you're doing, and it's just kind of pathetic because if any thought was put into any kind of character development or character arc. Anything. They just don't think about it or care or know how to do it. I don't know.
I don't know, I'm going to go back to my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Weapons and skins, camera, hairstyles, armor, all that looking different. I don't know if you're a programmer. Constantly. Let me know how hard that is or not.
Oh, it's just time and resources.
I just don't know if it's time or resources, but I feel like in this day and age, it shouldn't be that hard to just slap that armor on a mod. I mean, maybe it's the hardest thing ever. Same thing is with multiplayer co-op games that aren't first-person shooters, like White Knight Chronicles, WoW, things like that. White Knight Chronicles, I'll keep going back to that because that's like a fantasy, hang out with your buddies, kill monsters, make gear, get better gear. Hunter. Yeah, Monster Hunter type thing. World was great. But it's not. But Monster Hunter got so boring after a while.
Yeah, I mean, there was no story. It's just like
there's no story. Kill big monster. Make weapons stuff.
Yeah, there's no story. That's the thing. If I feel like Diablo or any of these games like that, where the universe, it makes it feel like you're a part of this universe and like you're doing it for a reason. Those games become infinitely replayable.
I mean, if you could make a game like White Knight Chronicles, but good, or like even like WoW, make a game like WoW, where like, but not 800 million people playing at the same time. Right. Just like I could play like a Final Fantasy type game with my friends, and we could log in together, or he could make his own character, creates his own character, his own model, all that out of like the set model things and stuff. And then we can either run around as a party and do stuff. But I feel like, I don't know if the coding is too hard for that. You don't see a lot of that anymore besides first-person shooter games. Like,
what do you mean?
Where like I could join you like in a Final Fantasy type game where we're running around killing shit together, and I can just join in and out and come in and out.
Oh, okay.
Like,
well, I mean, there are games, I think. There's
like, I want like a Dark Souls game, but where I can play with my buddies, like in a small
for
group.
Real,
like that, or like for real, like a.
Yeah, there's not that many. I think Resident Evil 5 was one of my favorite co-op experiences.
5 was good.
Like, it doesn't have the best. It's not the scariest, and it's
doesn't
not,
he lift the giant boulder and throw it at the ogre?
No, he's punching the boulder because Chris Redfield is just this massive monster,
roided out
monster jaw. Yeah,
he doesn't skip leg day or upper body day.
Upper body day. He doesn't skip HGH day either. It's okay. So with Resident Evil 5, I bring this up because the co-op aspect of it is kind of perfect, because it's like you share inventories, you can share inventories, but it feels like you had to constantly give each other ammo, stuff like that. Like like you had to help each other up. It's one of my favorite co-op games. I mean, it's all again getting through the story, but and it wasn't the scariest, and it wasn't the best story or anything. Way more
action.
Action, it's actiony, but pretty flawless co-op in that game.
I just want more games where I can play with my buddy, like,
but where the co-op feels like it was meant
where
to
you're
be
working together.
Yeah.
Not where like you're like super overpowered or anything like that because your buddy's with you now. But I want something where we're sharing resources. Yeah. If I find a weapon, say I want to use spears and Trav wants to use axes, and I'm like, I found this badass axe. Let's trade or whatever. But you're building up together but there's a story, and I think that's the problem too. Well, it's either a cool co-op game like Monster Hunter. Like Monster Hunter was cool. Like we ran around, worked together, kill monsters, but then there was no story. Kill monster
concert, kill
monster,
blah 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 blah.
Make spike shield.
Couldn't
do anything in the town. We couldn't build anything. We couldn't. You talk to a couple.
The communal
people
aspect of it. I mean, it's all about the community. Like Destiny is good co-op, but at the end of the day, it's like it's individuals playing co-op. If that makes sense. It's what I mean by that is
they're not working together for.
It's just I'm leveling up my guy. I'm getting guns. I'm getting stronger, and you just happen to join me on this adventure.
Well, that's why I bring up like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Like, hey, you want to be a tank? I want to be a healer, or I want to be a spellcaster, or a long gunman, or whatever it may be, and I want to work together to counter something. Like, we all can't be tanks.
Right.
It like wouldn't work. You need people to help each other out and share. Like, I'm an alchemist, so I can make him potions. Or
It has to go beyond just you and I are shooting things together. You and I are hitting things with a sword together. It either needs to be the two of us are in this grand story. Like Halo 1 felt like you were two Master Chiefs and you were saving the day. The Sarge is out there. He's getting shot at. We're going to go save the Sarge.
No.
It has to feel like either the two of you are going on an adventure and you're having this adventure together and we save the day together. It has to either feel like that, like this big story or this big universe or that I care, or it needs to be like Ronin. Like, we're building this communal spaceship together to beat this thing. Yeah. Like, and it all comes into the same pouch. You can't even do inventories together.
Whatever. Building, sharing inventory, working together as a healer, a tank, a range, whatever it may be. But you're doing it together to get gear or build a base or survive or conquer the evil, whatever it may be. I find there's a very lack. Like, you may get one, but then there's no story. You may get, cool co-op, but it's all individual co-op versus like, community. What was it? I'm trying to think.
Dead air is great air.
I can't remember what it is. I don't know. I'll have to remember later.
Well, I mean, the idea, we're saying the same thing. The idea here is, I don't think people actually, when they say community, when they say co-op, when they say play together, what they really mean is we're out for me, we're out for the same person. It's like the objectives and there's no actual co-op. It's like we're building a house, but we're building a house separately. So the co-op is, I'm building my house and you're building your house. They just happen to be next to each other. And that's not really co-op. I mean, it's like we're together and we're doing a thing in proximity. And it's like, we can, in shooting games, we can get through the level quicker together or whatever. But there's no leveling up aspect of that. There's no broad community things. I want there to be more communal things in video games. I think that together we need to have that wow moment. That fuck yeah, we did it. Took us all night. We were just juiced up on all this pizza and we got energy drinks. And we stayed up and it was just like we were waiting forever. We finally fucking did it. And we did it. It's amazing. And for two people to go like to get out of their seats and go like, yes, we did it, is so rare. I think in games they like to think it happens all the time.
I think the best game that's ever done it is like WoW, like in raids. Like no, like I remember staying up. I had to work at like 6 a.m. and I stayed up till like 5:20 because we were trying to kill freaking the Lich King or something and be a server first. And everyone stayed up. Everyone like went to work either with no sleep or called in sick. And it was just like super excitement to do like a, the first ever Lich King kill on the server and like then be rewarded, by super gear that walking around in my crazy shoulder pad. That wasn't from the Lich though. I think that was
the thing that you're saying is you had to go in there with a bunch of people all working together. If you didn't work together, you're not getting whatever the hell.
Exactly. You have to work together. Yeah. Like you had your tanks, you had your healers, you had your DPS, you had everything. And if one person, if your off tank didn't do something right, you wipe and then you screwed up.
And the only way that happens in something like Destiny, like I can play the whole game in Destiny, I can do everything by myself. The only thing you can't do that in is raids, which is kind of what you're talking about.
But even raids in Destiny, one person can. Well, I guess they changed it where you needed like multiple people to do certain things.
You have to go in there with 6 people, or you're
screwed. Now you do. Yeah, like in the first one, you could have one person sort of like who was just.
I don't know if you could do it with one person at the beginning. I think you had to have 6.
No. But one person can control it.
Okay.
Like,
what do you mean?
With his superpowers, or he can nonstop superpower or rocket launcher. He like a good killer is going to control that well. Okay. Whereas where if you have like 6,
well, sometimes
like
you still have to have people on the same platforms and stuff like that.
That was 2. 1.
It's still in Vault of Vault
of
Glass.
Vault of Glass.
Yeah. So anyway, but so there's a little bit in Destiny, but the point is, if I'm playing like a strike, or if I'm playing like a, for the most part, like I can do a strike by myself. I can play the campaign by myself. I don't need you.
Same with the world events.
Same with the world events, right?
Half the time I was the only person in a world event.
Right.
It's stupid.
But the best example that I can think of for that co-op aspect, without any kind of RPG stuff, is Halo 1. I keep coming back to it, but the idea that the only way we're getting the flag out of this base is if I work together. I have to throw the flag out at the exact moment you grab it. It has to be this well-timed, well-communicated thing. Swoop move, right? Swoop move. I've talked about this before, but it's so good. But that's why I like Capture the Flag, because it's the flags go into a pool, and the rest of us, like, I mean, obviously kills.
Well, you're just working together for one goal.
You're working together for one goal, and to get that flag out of there, you need teamwork for the most part. Kills, you can have one amazing killer on your team, and then you just win, and there you go. There's not a whole lot of co-op there, other than maybe working together and strategy there, shooting at different angles, being at different spots. I don't know. Capture the Flag was more of that to me, but that's the best experience I've ever had. That woohoo, holy shit, we did it moment where it's an hour-long game where I got the flag back and scored. I'm driving back with the flag of the Jeep, hoping the rocket doesn't hit me from afar. That experience. I just want that experience to go to the next level, and I think that's what our game idea was supposed to do.
Yeah,
Ronin 2049, 2249.
Something
I think
like
that's what Blade Runner's title is, 2049.
I don't know. I think it was like 2249 because we were like
that.
Wanted to be far enough in the future where it was plausible, not where it's Back to the Future and we're like in 1990
where it didn't
actually
come true.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we're almost at the 2-hour mark. So yeah. So this is the longest podcast we've ever done.
Woo!
I wanted to. I think Matt will keep coming back and be a part of this. Cheese, maybe we'll get all of this together, talk about more stuff. I want to review games, talk about games we're playing now, talk about games that are coming out that are exciting, talk about what games don't do. See if anybody has their own personal game. See if they identify with our game, our idea, the Ronin idea. See if it's plausible. See if anybody cares at all. I don't know.
I just want great games.
That's what we used to type in XB Connect. CTF on BG. Great games! Capitalize, exclamation points all the way down.
And then good luck, have fun right before it's done.
Yeah, have fun. Exactly. So that's the idea here. I just want you to join. I just want you to join our game. I don't want to have a good game of Blood Gulch. This is our Blood Gulch now. So anyway, for me, Travis, and
Matt.
Oh, Matt. We're going to sign off now and have fun. And we'll be back, hopefully, with more. Having a lot of mic issues, I got better lighting, but the mic issues, hopefully, I've solved. Hopefully, the camera issues, stuff. Like, it's just, need more money. More money. We all need more money.
So, Winning the lotto.
Yeah. So, for me and Matt, bye-bye.
Have a nice night.